It's Martin Griffiths, co-founder of Metis Automation and helping manufacturers to visualize and control their manufacturing processes. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to reduce machine downtime. So I spent the first 10 years of my career as a manufacturing engineer and manager in automotive companies. And then since starting Metis Automation, I've spent another 10 years doing over 100 projects to help manufacturers improve their production processes. So in this video, I want to dig into some of my experience and expertise to help you to figure out how to reduce machine downtime. And then be sure to stay to the end of the video where we'll share some tools and resources to help you get started more quickly. So, reducing machine downtime, it's one of the biggest headaches for people in manufacturing, and it can have one of the biggest impacts on low productivity in a business. So I want to outline 5 steps here of how to address the issue in a systematic way to help you get better at this. So number 1 is to try to categorize the reasons for machine downtime. So that would just start by either giving your machine operators a logbook or an Excel spreadsheet. And just over a 24-hour, week-long, month-long period, whatever, categorize when it stops, what happened, and they may use descriptive language to start with. You'll then need to process that and categorize that into things like filter changes, tooling problems, some other machine-related problem out of material. So so capture the data from your operators first, then categorize that yourself to kind of organize the variously described issues, and then from that you can also quantify the number of downtimes that we had for filter changes versus the number of periods of downtime that we had for being low on materials. And then based on the quantity of those, you can kind of sort that high to low, and then you can figure out which one of those issues to focus first, and then go through those one at a time, eliminating and trying to tackle some of the issues that you found there. So number 2 is to get to the root cause. So once you've categorized and prioritized what issues you're going to address and in what order, try to understand what the root cause. So, if it's downtime for an unexpected filter change, using a methodology like the 5 whys to ask, why did it take, 2 hours to do a filter change? That may be because, the answer may be because, the filter was in maintenance and I had to go and request it, and there was a big whole process around that. So, then the next why is this such lengthy process for requesting a filter from maintenance? And then just to keep drilling down why and why afterwards. The reason to do this really is to make sure that any solution that you come up with, you're addressing, the real underlying issues, and you're making sure that it's likely to never happen again. If you just resolve the answer to the first, the most obvious question, you're likely to come up with a solution that's just a sticking plaster, and it won't work in the longer term. So number 3 is to do some monitoring. So say that example of replace the filter. We've maybe looked at some of the issues as to why it took so long to get a replacement filter. So maybe it means moving a store of spares of filters line side rather than in maintenance stock. So that can be done quicker. The next thing to do would be to start monitoring data and collecting data on your machine to maybe predict when a filter change is going to be needed in the future. So there's a number of different ways to do that. A simple way might be just to take a measurement on the machine, maybe a temperature, maybe a pressure, just at the start or the end of every shift, log it in an Excel spreadsheet, plot it over time, and then try to understand at what point you need to make a filter change. Then maybe next time, as you see the levels approaching where you're going to need to make a filter change, like maybe rather than wait until when the machine tells you you have to change your filter now, you could proactively do it and do it on a weekend maybe, when there's some downtime, or do it towards the end of a shift on a Friday afternoon where it won't make as much of an impact. So moving to using data to help you to be more proactive, basically. Again, simple way, stick it in a spreadsheet. More fancy way, put a sensor on there, log it over time, put it into an automated dashboard, and use some software to put some rules in there to tell you when to do stuff. Number 4 is to do some training. So whatever lessons that you learn from things like that, make sure you get the operators of those machines on board with that and trained into the processes and the actions that they should be doing to keep their machine running as optimally as possible, from a number of different sources, by, undertaking all of the advice from the service engineers and the manufacturer of the machine, to any kind of internally developed techniques that you've got from what I just described and monitoring trends. Make sure your machine operators are as up to date or as expert on those as possible, and that they understand the consequence of making that note of the pressure of a filter at the start and the end of the shift, so that they are on board with that. And then number 5 is to do preventative maintenance. So I gave a little bit of an example of it before, but the machine manufacturer will probably have given you some suggested scheduled maintenance tasks to do. Either make sure that they're on a support contract and they're coming in and doing that, monthly, 6 monthly, 12 monthly, whatever the period is, or that you put some kind of foolproof internal preventative maintenance schedule in place to make sure that either the machine operator or your maintenance guys are coming in and doing these tasks before it gets to a state that the machine, shuts down or hits a warning or an alarm telling you that, this thing or that thing needs changing. Do that proactively, do that at the end of the week, do that on the weekends, on any other machine downtime, so that it doesn't impact the productivity when the machine should be available to run product. So let's just summarise again. Number 1, in how to reduce machine downtime, categorise the things and prioritise the things that are causing machine downtime. Number 2 is to identify the root cause of each of the issues. Number 3 is collect some data and monitor the machine going forward to understand what things you can learn from the machine to tell you when you need to do things. And then number 4 is to keep your operators trained on as the processes change and make sure they know exactly what they should be doing. And then number 5 is to keep proactive and do predictive maintenance and preventative maintenance to make sure that any downtime is scheduled and won't impact productivity. So if you like this video, click like and subscribe below. Let me know in the comments which one of these issues you think will have the most impact for you, or let me know if you're doing something else that you think is really useful in this area. Thanks a lot for listening, and see you next time. Bye.